Alright, and this is Dan Gilman.
And Zach Gazarowski.
And this week we are playing DuckTales for the NES.
In anticipation of this summer's release of the reimagining, the remake of DuckTales, which will be developed by WayForward Technologies, which is always a very good sign.
Absolutely, WayForward's good at that kind of stuff. So
yeah, they make some good games.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and just jump right in. And what land do you normally like to start with?
Man, you know what? I usually just start with the Amazon.
Yeah,
just kind of work my way down. But feel free to, if you have a favorite level or something, just feel free to jump in.
Isn't the moon everyone's favorite level?
The moon. I mean, yeah, the moon theme is amazing. It's got to be one of the top 10 soundtracks, video game soundtrack.
Of all time.
All time. Oh, for sure.
So.
Yeah, so this is DuckTales. I mean, so did you play this game back in its heyday? When it first came out?
Are you accusing me of being old?
Yeah, hey, we're in the same boat, man. I played this game, hardcore when it first came out all those years ago, and everybody knows you got to make it over to the left here. You hop in the background, and
that just blew your mind as a kid that they would do something like that.
I kind of broke that, that fourth wall down.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. And then you could hop over this one too. You can keep going. You can keep going left. Go back. Go back.
Can you?
Yeah.
See, this is how long it's been since I've thoroughly played these.
Yes, you can keep going back. You can jump back over. So it's like a secret within a secret, or a bonus room within a bonus room, which is, again, back in the day, that's pretty crazy,
So I mean, I remember this game coming out. I never owned it when it came out. This was more of those every time there's nothing new that you wanted to rent, you're picking up DuckTales.
For sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I played this game. I think it was basically the always take damage here too. One of the rich kids on the street kind of thing had DuckTales, and he could beat it. And it's well, yeah, because if memory serves, it's not an exceptionally hard game.
Right.
It's just knowing what to do in certain spots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. It's kind of like any Mega Man game. Well, and runs on the Mega Man engine. Right when you know what you're doing, how to beat each level, the proper order to kind of beat the levels, where all the secrets are. Just like any other NES game, really, when you think about it. But
yeah.
This is, I never owned this game either, but I did rent it several times. I had a couple of friends that had it. And it's just a great game. I mean, it's, bright, colorful games, great gameplay, fun gameplay.
And it was before you, hated the cartoon, basically.
Yeah,
because
it's pretty faithful to the cartoon. I mean, it's all the same characters. It's just
it's stylized enough that it looks exactly like the cartoon.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. Back in the NES era. I mean, it's one of those. This is when TV shows and movie games didn't suck that bad. DuckTales was a really good exception. That you don't dread playing these TV games. Darkwing Duck was another Capcom Mega Man engine game that was also pretty well done.
No. Darkwing Duck was Mega Man.
Yeah, it was basically.
It was Mega Man, down to the point that I think even some of the boss battles and some of his guns made the same noise.
Yeah. Same engine. I mean, well, Capcom did right the first time around when they made Mega Man. They're just how can we make a different game using the same engine, which is smart, which has allowed them to make a well-designed game, based on good level design and other good gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, I don't really see how I could have avoided that.
It's DuckTales. It's a NES game.
It's like Chinatown.
It's gonna be cheap. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. It's Chinatown. Just let it go. That's an old movie quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're I figured it's not funny.
I know of Chinatown, but I'm not familiar with the quotes from that movie.
Oh.
damn, dude, you're getting
Yeah.
destroyed over
And
here.
the sad thing is, I honestly think I've played this game relatively recently.
Oh yeah.
Like, within, like, a year, 2 years max, and I wasn't this bad at it.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You go back and you play these NES games that you were able to just dominate when you were, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and now you go back and play them and you can't even beat the first level.
Well, the weird thing is, like, he'll also randomly decide that he's just done bouncing on his cane.
Yeah, it's such a.
And it's like one of those things that, like, I could probably tell you exactly why he stopped doing it when I was younger, but now it feels like I'd have to read his fucking mind to know why, like, he was just like, no, I'm just not gonna do that right now.
If you, like, hit the ground wrong, like, if you kind of hit something on an edge, you actually have to hit the pogo sticks, part of the sprite when you jump, otherwise he's not gonna bounce again.
I've got a game over on that. Alright, well, let's just try some of the other levels, because,
Yeah. Plus you're playing it on normal, which is a little bit more difficult, sure.
Oh yeah, sure, let's go with that. Thanks for, trying not to make me feel bad.
Trying to help you out here.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, no, it's difficult, don't worry. And that's something else I remember about this game that I thought was pretty impressive.
You do need to know a certain level. Not that you need to know. I mean, he automatically kicked you out to Transylvania, but there is an order, to the levels if you wanted to beat it, as fast as possible if you want to know where you're going. It's such a unique game because it kind of just goes beyond just your standard platforming. You can jump, but then you can jump higher if you use the pogo stick technique. But at the same time, you can still use the pogo stick like a golf club.
What the fuck? I bounced on, and I guess some enemies like ghosts are just fucking immortal.
I guess you can't get bounced on the ghosts.
Wireless controller decided to die on me. Alright.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, might have to reinitialize this.
Get some new batteries.
Yeah.
It always happens to me when I'm right in the middle of a Halo match.
If you can't tell, we're on an emulator, kids. You can now see my background if you really feel like it.
That makes me remind me that I need to recharge my batteries when we're done with this video cast here.
Alright, so right now what I'm doing is actually switching over to DuckTales 2, the less known, not always as well spoken about DuckTales game.
And DuckTales 2, I mean, was significantly harder, I think, than the original DuckTales.
Oh, not only that, but this has... The other DuckTales had 2 endings, but one of them was basically like, you didn't beat your rival to the top, or you did. And as you can tell, the sprites got like a little more love in this one. There's a little more detail. This game actually ended up coming out after the Super Nintendo had already been released.
Yeah.
So this is a very
late generation game.
I actually, until recently, didn't even know this existed. As weird as that sounds.
Probably DuckTales, and I would say like Kirby's Adventure is just a lot of people didn't even know it existed because the Super Nintendo was out, and that was where the majority of the focus was, the hype was.
Well, not even that as much as like, I had a Nintendo Power subscription, as I assume, most
everybody did.
Yeah, most children that age did, but I didn't and I knew about Kirby, but they didn't always tell you, oh, you love DuckTales. DuckTales 2 is coming out, and if they did, who knows? In all honesty. Yeah,
I actually owned DuckTales 2 on Game Boy, which was I think even more rare.
Both of them were, because it's just the nature of the handheld.
Yeah. And you can obviously see, the backgrounds have significantly more detail in this game. You've already used a number of mechanics that weren't in the first game, like you got to, swing your golf club pogo stick cane.
Yeah,
to grab onto something.
Yeah, like you could swing it in the first one to like launch stuff, but it never really.
Yeah. You couldn't use it to like activate a switch or something like that.
Yeah. I was trying to do something clever there that didn't really work out for me.
Can't jump that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, all new levels and everything. He goes to new places. I mean, it's been so long since I played DuckTales 2 versus DuckTales 1.
And the thing that annoys the living shit out of me about this game is that there's actually multiple endings in this, and they're all based on what order you play the game in.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember something about that. I don't remember the details.
There's hidden treasure and stuff, and you have to, you have to collect treasure, and you have to beat the levels in order, and then, what is it, like, there's hidden treasure in each level that you have to get in order as well.
Yeah, and if you get all the secret treasures, then you get like, more bonus points or more money. I think it might have actually been like money based or something. I think
there's actually like it's shit that you have to do in order.
Could be.
It's just fucking like, no, I'm not doing that. And when I was a kid, that might have been something that it's like, oh, I read that in Nintendo Power, I absorbed it through osmosis. Mm-hmm. But like as an adult, it's just like, oh, so I'm just never gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean that's how NES games were. I mean, you had the tenacity when you were a young kid to just keep playing a game over and over and over until you just beat it. Not like today where you just can. There's new games coming out every week, and you get online faxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because like if you didn't hear it on the playground and you didn't read it in Nintendo Power, it just didn't fucking happen.
Yep.
Just end of conversation. How did I miss that fucking jump? Alright, gonna give this another try before you continue to make fun of me.
We can always switch over to the Game Boy version too if we need to. But,
that just sounds like it would take effort.
Try a different level.
Yeah. Wow, this is like a really long exposition for this game. Here's all this information and why this is a treasure and why you should watch out because it's dangerous. Are you all set? It's like, yeah, I guess.
This looks a lot like Mega Man. I mean, the background, look at that. I mean, that looks, the waterfall.
It looks like a late Mega Man game.
Yeah, it looks like something straight out of Mega Man. Even that frog might have been in Mega Man.
Well, that's Capcom getting mileage out of their engine.
That's all right, though. I mean, they did a good job. I
don't think anyone faults you for reusing an engine.
I kind of foresee, like, well, hopefully, when the Way Forward, recreation gets, released this summer, hopefully it'll sell well, and then you never know, maybe they'll remake DuckTales 2 as well.
Maybe. They didn't really remake, the Bionic Commando sequel? There was a temporary Bionic, not temporary, that's not the right word, a sort of sequel for Bionic Commando on the Game Boy.
Game Boy Color. Oh, well, there was there was Elite Forces on Game Boy Color. Then there was Bionic Commando.
And it was
on
like
original Game Boy.
Yeah, they were really similar, except I guess like the last levels were completely different.
I can't remember now.
Well, I'm only asking you. Oh, fuck me. Only asking you to remember stuff that happened 20 years ago. And, recite it as fact.
Yeah, exactly, right? This is what Wikipedia is for.
Also, the controls in this game is a little harder, but the controls are way more forgiving for the most part. And the other one, you had to be pressing down to pogo. Right. And in this one, it's just like, if you're jumping and you hit A, you just pogo.
Mm-hmm. You gotta help him out. Yeah, because each level kind of had like its own little side quest. Like you gotta help this guy out. You gotta find Gizmo Duck, you know.
You always had to find Gizmo because, when you're entirely overpowered and nothing can defeat you, you get in trouble on your, on your own constantly.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so now you can break things, metal boxes basically, when you pogo on them. So there's some slight RPG elements in here, you
that you level up eventually, yeah.
Yeah. One thing that's unique about the Game Boy version, the original Game Boy version of DuckTales, is it's actually pretty much a straight port of the NES version, which, especially at the time, was really kind of unheard of. I mean, for example, take Super Mario Land, right? Kind of like the flagship.
It was the Mario.
It was its own game.
It was so different too.
It was exactly. Yeah, it was. They made that game specifically tailored to the Game Boy's hardware specs. Whereas you get a couple years later, you get a game like DuckTales, and it's basically NES DuckTales on the Game Boy. Which again is just a pretty impressive feat. All in itself, you just didn't see anything like that. Same thing with DuckTales 2 is basically it just they took the NES version and put it on Game Boy, the original Game Boy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that didn't happen often, and
No.
it was possible, but it was a labor of love if you wanted to do something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't. I mean, the Game Boy specs, even when the original Game Boy came out, it was already like a dumbed down machine. The specs, it was already outdated on day one when it launched, but that was why
you had stuff like
cheaper.
the Game Gear coming out.
It was color, the processor under the hood of the original Game Boy is just nothing spectacular at all. But yet they were able to port DuckTales to it, so it's just an impressive feat.
No!
This guy's giving you trouble.
Yeah. Alright. Let's...
Game also had just great music all around, not just the moon theme, a lot of the levels, a lot of the sound effects, very memorable.
Alright. So let's switch over to the Game Boy version, which I know that you personally have been looking forward to.
Yeah, well, it's just something a little different. I think the NES version, the DuckTales one on NES is the DuckTales game that always gets the biggest publicity behind it. It's the game that most people have played. And then there's the original Game Boy version, which is very similar to the NES version. That just I don't think as many people played, but I know it did sell well. Not quite as well as the original DuckTales on NES, but it still sold pretty significantly well for a Game Boy game, that's for sure.
Yeah. Alright, let's turn you down. DuckTales 2, which we were just playing.
On Game Boy.
Funny enough, this is actually already better because you could skip this text a little bit.
You could speed it up. So, look at this. You were just playing this level, and it's, how close is that? They specifically made, like you said, a labor of love. They just ported the NES version right over to Game Boy.
Yeah, this is pretty close. No, I don't want to talk to you. It's interesting because there's a couple of things that just feel like small touch it. What is this?
You got the finger.
It won't be. It's not the first time.
better than getting the fist.
So this is alright. This is a little different.
It is, yeah. Level design is a little different, but still similar enough. You know, where you can draw direct comparisons for sure.
Yeah, very. Oh no, like, and everything that's even like slightly different at this point is almost coincidental.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to tweak some levels. Maybe each level just couldn't be as big as the NES version or something like that, so they might have, you know, cropped a wall or something along those lines, but impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, and there's, like, weird slowdown, and, like, you didn't open that raft, like, you didn't, but, you know, it nitpicky stuff.
Right. That's something that I'm just sure they cut out of the Game Boy specifically, just to save a little bit of space.
Or, you know, just like, because it was like a raft that would fold out under like several frames of animation that they're like, that I'm sure they were like, okay, well, you know, we can do this, and there's going to be absolutely severe slowdown every time it happens, because like it slows down a little bit like when you open a box.
Yeah.
And this is just stuff that the Game Boy wasn't designed to do.
Right.
Because you have to remember that if DuckTales 2 was late on the NES.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
really late.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Game Boy still had games coming out for it when the Super Nintendo was out.
Yeah.
But not many. Like, if they did, they were like just quickly forgotten about and kind of like brushed off.
So the first NES DuckTales came out, I guess, in 1989. Then the first Game Boy port was 1990. But then DuckTales 2 was 1993.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking Super Nintendo time period.
Yeah, 93, man. That is late.
Color kind of stuff.
Yeah. You gotta pogo hop it?
Well, no. There, okay, I was just hitting it wrong. What the hell? Oh.
Oh,
what?
there you go, yeah.
That was weird.
Wow, it actually tells you. That's unique. Now, here comes these the birds, your favorite.
Fuck you. I think the only reason I got through that one was because of the slowdown.
Sometimes it works to your advantage. Yeah, I'm excited about the re-release for the original this summer on XBLA and PSN.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's. I mean, I don't know. It's being done by Capcom, and WayForward. And WayForward
right.
is normally pretty good about like their ports of like just in general. They're pretty good.
Yeah. I got some high hopes for it. You know, if WayForward touches something, it's usually pretty damn good.
My only complaint is like the demo level that they were showing off was, I think, the Amazon. Yeah. And I wanted to see the moon really badly.
I want to see them. I mean, I'm sure it's still early. You know, they got several more months. I mean, 2, 3, 4. Who knows exactly when it's coming out? They just generally said summer.
Yeah, I'm guessing Summer of Arcade.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. It'll probably be like one of the last games in Summer of Arcade to, you know, go out with a bang or something.
Or
I wonder
the
how much
first
it's going to
one.
cost. I mean, I think it's going to be a $15 game as opposed to a $10 game because they can get away with it. You know, anybody that grew up playing Nintendo, original Nintendo, is going to want to buy the XBLA or PSN version of DuckTales.
Well,
comes out.
My issue about it is that it's, in all honesty, I think that it's going to end up being something stupid like $20.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Usually, if it is Summer of Arcade.
Because the downloadable games have just been getting more and more expensive
Yeah, they have, I mean, a lot of. I mean, it's actually rare now to get a $10 downloadable game. They're mostly 1,200 Microsoft points.
Yeah.
And DuckTales too here. This, I mean, you just beat that level. This is unique because you can actually use your money and spend it on extra things. Like the continue globe and get an extra, continue in lives and things like that. Just another element that they just took to the next level with DuckTales 2.
And it's raining right now. That's not really something that you like. Weather effects are not something you would really even see on the NES, let alone the Game Boy, and
you don't get too many animated backgrounds. That's absolutely for sure. And there, now there's no slowdown. You got an animated background, and it's still running pretty well. Oh, you got the finger.
Yep. This game just loves fingering me.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You got to push it the other way, and then
yeah.
Yeah, so it uses the cane in more ways this time around for
just like really kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's innovative.
Yeah.
You're not going to really see that in any other platformer. I mean, it's not a big deal. You move a switch, it's like, so what? But it's just something different. It's just a little more creative.
Well, and this is like I for the most part, I sort of feel like DuckTales is just I fucked that up. DuckTales is an example of a company getting the wrong impression about something. Like, oh, this probably didn't sell because A, it wasn't marketed that well, and B, because it was at the end of a generation. Yeah. And instead it's like, oh, DuckTales, like, everyone owns DuckTales, and it sold really well.
DuckTales 2, I don't think nobody knew about it.
No one knew about it, and it... Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm proven wrong.
Oh, see? There's the raft.
Yep.
Okay.
There's the raft being hit open, too, so...
I'm gonna see DuckTales 2. Let's see what Wikipedia says about DuckTales 2. I wonder how much it's sold. Released on the Entertainment System in early 1993, the game was later ported to the Game Boy in Japan and North America at the end of the year. So this is the end. This came out the end of 1993. Due to its late console release, the NES version is considered a rarity among... Yeah, see, if you own DuckTales 2, I mean, that's worth a pretty penny, because just no one bought it because it was just so late in the series.
Yeah. And it just seems like... I don't know if they stopped making it because they lost licensing with Capcom, or, whatever, but the first one was apparently enough of a success that they just were like, fine, we'll do a sequel, and then the sequel came out, and I don't know if it was Capcom or, Disney that basically just said, no, DuckTales 2 sold really poorly, we're just not doing another one.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the time, I mean, I mean, maybe just DuckTales in general was going out of style by '93. I can't remember when specifically, like the DuckTales cartoon and stuff was out, but by then it just could have been going down.
Well, the funny thing is, I actually did some research a while ago on like how many there's a shocking amount of DuckTales cartoons.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many seasons there are, but yeah, there's a lot. There was a couple movies too, I think.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is. So there are only like a handful of seasons, but back in the day when they used to commission cartoons, they would commission like, oh, okay, so you've got picked up to do a season. A season is 67 episodes.
Yeah, it's not like today where you get 10, maybe 12 episodes.
It was like, oh, okay, no, it's just animation. It's not a real job. Yeah.
Yeah, the 80s and early 90s, not like it is today. Wikipedia says that DuckTales would go on to sell over 1 million copies for each system, becoming Capcom's best-selling game for both platforms, the NES and Game Boy. So it sold over 1 million copies, which was that's a pretty cool feat for back in the day of a NES game.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, 1 million copies would like nowadays would probably be considered a failure.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you talk.
You want you to break even.
Well, I mean, like, you talk about, like, Tomb Raider. Squaresoft said that Tomb Raider was a disappointment in sales, and it sold 4 million units.
Yeah.
Oh, really, guys?
That's a little tedious because you gotta.
Because it doesn't load the information.
It can't go beyond the screen. Yeah, so stop it there. Stop it there. Don't go too far. But that was, yeah, you know what? That was the thing with the original DuckTales too, because it had respawning enemies, just as Mega Man did. You know, if you go outside of the screen range, the enemies just come back. So you gotta chop the barrels first. That sucks. See? Now you gotta go back and do it again. Yeah, that's just
Annoying.
hardware limitation right there. That is the definition of hardware limitation.
Just a little bit.
You probably gotta break the bottom.
Yeah, that's... And I like that when you hit something, he can't do anything about his eyes shake back and forth, even in this one.
And you get the little sound effect.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, you know, give the game its charm. Like, I have no idea who the hell this guy is, but...
were any of these people anyone at any point? Like...
I mean, I don't remember the cartoon in detail, but I have no idea who that guy was.
Duckler. And it might seem crazy, but, like, even from the first game, like, the first game didn't have a lot of just random enemies that took more than one hit to kill.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that they took a couple of bounces, even though you're still playing it on
Game Boy.
Normal difficulty. I mean, that's kind of the other thing too. I mean, it's not just, you know, one difficulty setting. They actually implemented a few different difficulties, so there is some replayability with it, but.
I really do have to admit that it's just like, I mean, I owned Mega Man on the Game Boy, and it wasn't this different than it wasn't this similar as the NES one.
You're right. I mean, yeah, you're right. The Mega Man game on Game Boy was basically just a whole new game.
Yeah, it was just entirely different. It played different. It controlled different. It just felt like a different game.
Yeah, where this is a port, basically, you know, which is again just so unique. You didn't see that very. I mean, even the Bionic Commando game was completely different. It was made for the hardware. You just didn't see too many just NES ports on Game Boy. No secrets that time.
No, I keep expecting them to, which I think is the worst part.
You get you get the one, you know, when you can go beyond the border, and you just assume every one of them's like that. Yeah, you get a little bit disappointed when you can't too.
Well, because you don't feel smart anymore.
But yeah, I mean, it's something like that you might take for granted today, but back in the day, it was like, oh man, you can go on the border of the screen? You know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's another creative use of the cane. You know, use it as a slingshot.
Yeah.
The man cannon before Halo.
And I'm sorry, regardless of what you say, man cannon still sounds a little gay.
Totally. He's probably gonna shoot something. Oh, there you go. You got a golf club in him.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Nice. Pretty creative boss battles, you know, given the limited circumstances. Man, you're just getting smoked.
Well, I never claimed I was good at video games.
Especially early 90s DuckTales. We should go back and play the original Turtles game and just get smoked. You can't even get past the first screen.
No,
so.
No, I'm not playing that. That's the one that like starts with a top-down thing.
Yeah,
and
it's right. It starts on the city and stuff, then you go in the sewers. But
yeah, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
There's nothing you can say that will make me want to play, even pretend to enjoy that game.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Oh, there are people.
Yeah,
have you not met the internet?
And they're insane.
I love that this boss is harder than the entire level that it's in.
Alright, one more time. Give it one last try. See, I don't remember this rock guy being in the cartoon at all, but then again, I haven't seen every episode.
There's a lot of weird episodes. Like, just really weird episodes, and like, Uncle Scrooge is not someone that you should look up to, ever. He, like, uses those kids as cheap labor. cheap free labor.
He likes to, dive into a vat of hard pennies.
Yeah, like you didn't attempt to do that when you were a kid because of DuckTales.
That would hurt like hell if you jumped into pennies.
Yeah, but you didn't try it when you were a kid, just being like, oh, I bet I could totally do that.
It looks, well, that's the magic of cartoons.
Kids are dumb. That's the magic of cartoons.
And children are stupid.
They are. That's kind of their gimmick.
You go.
I know, right? It took long enough.
There, you got the Moo secret.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Alright, so that's DuckTales.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I'm really looking forward to the game when it comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play like the 2D sprites on the 3D background thing. That's got me a little nervous, to be honest with you. But if it's way forward, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They usually know what they're doing.
And Capcom's pretty good about this stuff, too.
Exactly, yeah. Capcom's pretty good about it, you know.
Alright, so for this week, this has been Dan Gilman. You can check me on my website, which is varms.net. You can also catch what I'm playing and reviewing currently on mygamer.com. And follow me on Twitter at Gilman.
Yeah, I'm Zach Gazarowski. I am at squallsnake.com. I'm also the editor-in-chief of mygamer.com. My Twitter is ZachGaz, Z-A-C-K-G-A-Z.
All right, and we will see you next week for more odd games.
Game on.